Okay,
Hi everyone, I'm Isabella,
I'm Cameron.
and today we're going to be talking about culture appropriation in fashion with the Asian American community. So, what is culture appropriation? I think it's taking another one's culture without crediting it back to them. There's a really fine line between ignorance and understanding, and
You kind of have to understand the culture and understand what you're representing before you do it.
so what are some examples of culture appropriation in fashion? Talk about like Halloween
Oh,
costumes.
yeah. So one form of appropriation that's really popular is wearing like culturally significant items of clothing for like Halloween or just as a costume, which is just really insensitive to people who these things really like have meaning and carry like a deep history. And it's not just it's more than just a costume for people to play around with.
Another example of appropriation is wearing, again, culturally significant items of clothing just because they look cute or it's a trend at the time. One root cause of appropriation is racism, because for me, for example, for any Asian American, society growing up has told you that the way you look and the way you dress is weird or foreign.
Yeah.
And wasn't really accepted, but once it's trending, people are allowed to wear it, and that's really ignorant to those who did face that discrimination growing up. And I think culture appropriation also extends past just clothing.
Yeah, so I think another root of cause is just ignorance. People don't necessarily know if they're being offensive.
Another concept I want to bring up is Orientalism, which is basically the Western view of Asians, and it's very like binary of us versus them, and it's a form of othering, and it stems from racism.
Yeah.
Basically, it perpetuates like stereotypes of Asians being foreign or exotic and overall just different, and it kind of sets up Western culture as being superior.
I think it's kind of just like condescending coming from like Western culture.
This plays into fashion because I feel like Asian garments are always mocked, whether it's in like TV shows or just media, and that's like a really significant form of like appropriation because it's like belittling Asian cultures and setting up the West as like putting authority over them.
Yeah, I remember a lot of times growing up seeing Asian stereotype like karate kids and like dojos and stuff like that, and that was just really weird.
Another example is that I used to be a dancer, and my dance studio is mostly white people, but that didn't stop them from doing the Asian inspired dances with the fans on their head, and the music and everything is just like really offensive, and obviously comes from a place of like ignorance and a lack of education.
Also, for some reason, it was a really popular thing. It was like really funny in TV shows again to just have like a really thick Asian accent. That's just something I noticed, and it just like made me really mad as a kid, and it still does. Yeah, so just if you're wearing clothes like that, make sure that you're respecting it and understand what you're doing.
I want to bring up too that it's not only white people that are capable of culture appropriation. It can be just anyone from any culture taking from another and either like claiming it as their own or not being educated about what they're wearing. And the idea that only white people are capable of culture appropriation is also harmful, because it kind of supports this idea of that white people need to accept something for it to become normal.
Yeah.
How do we avoid it, or how do we appreciate culture?
One thing I would say is if you really feel so inclined to participate in someone else's culture, make sure that you get piece of clothing from a trusted source, someone that understands what it's about and what it means, and not just $5 dupe on Amazon, because that is harmful.
And I think that if you buy from someone like really ignorant, especially when it comes to like culturally significant articles of clothing, like for example, like don't buy something from Amazon that's obviously like meant to mock and offend that culture, and wear it like in a serious manner.
Yeah. Also, when you do wear those things and you decide to go do whatever you want to do in it, you're representing that culture when you're out in public. So if you're, out running amok in public, people are gonna see you and think, oh, that culture is correlated with their behavior, and so you have to really be careful, respecting other people.
And also, when people of that culture question you, I think that it's important to be open-minded and realize that they're not coming from a place of hate, because I think it's important to just listen to those people and listen to what they have to say.
You are borrowing from them, so it's important to just respect them as well.
And it's also a way of lifting up their voices.
Yeah.
Because their voices have probably been suppressed.
Yeah.
So it's just listening to to people of that culture is just a way to respect and lift their voices, which probably hasn't been done before.
Right.
Yeah. And then lastly, in order to appreciate the culture, you have to appreciate everything about it. You can't just wear the clothes. You know?
You can't just pick and choose what you like about it. You have to really be engaged in it.
Like the food, the music, the culture, like the language, everything. You can't, like you said, you can't pick and choose, because that's also just ignorant. Yeah. Okay, is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
Don't be racist.
Don't be racist.
All right.
Okay, that's a good message to spread. Okay, bye.